There was times about 2 or 3, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, going and seeing the doctor. The doctor said, well, if you continue your lifestyle, you're not going to be here for much longer. Hi, how's it going? My name's Jim. Thanks for joining me. I just wanted to spend some time on reflecting on the last couple of years of my life. There have been a lot of things that have happened, a lot of things that have changed in my life. We have to go back a little bit in history, probably 20 or 30 years ago. Things in my life have been a struggle for me. There have been a lot of things in my weight loss and even my weight gain that it's always been, the typical yo-yo effect. You lose a little, gain a little more, lose a little. You have this fluctuating up and down mode of things happening. There were times when I would lose 50, 60 pounds, but then I'd get 100 pounds back. 2 years ago, I was 370 pounds. And it was a very eye-opening experience and time to really think about what's actually really going on. Not to mention the weight gain and the weight issues, I was also battling alcohol. I'm a recovering alcoholic. 2 years ago on May 13, I stopped drinking, and I haven't drank so far. So I live a sober life. I choose to live a sober life because I know it's good for me. It's been a struggle. It hasn't been easy. When I say I was an alcoholic, I was an alcoholic. I drank a lot. It really wouldn't be anything for me to go through a fifth of whiskey a night. And not just a night a week, probably 4 or 5 nights a week. So I'd like to take some time to just kind of explain the history of this. Where I was then, where I am now, what changes I made, the good, the bad, the ugly. They always say change is good, but why is it so hard? It's very hard to make that final decision saying, I am going to change. As far as support, I have support. I have a very loving wife. We've been married for 40 years. And it really has been because of her that I've made these changes. There was times about 2 or 3, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, going and seeing the doctor. The doctor said, well, if you continue your lifestyle, you're not going to be here for much longer. Fighting diabetes, fighting cirrhosis. I knew what I had to do, but I wasn't stopping. It came down to a point where my wife and I had a very serious conversation where she said, I am not going to be around to see you go away. I will not do it. If you want to continue this lifestyle, it's up to you to either change or lose me. I just can't see my life without her. That's one of the reasons why I changed also, is because it became so serious that it started affecting my immediate relationships. Now, if we talk about the alcoholism that I was struggling with, even the doctor said, you are in a very bad danger zone. This danger zone is going to take away what you have, and it's not going to be nice. It's not going to be good. I actually took the steps to figure out how to change my thinking ability, my mindset, the ways that I am looking at alcohol and about the way that I am looking at my lifestyle. I was what they would call a functioning alcoholic. I know that's not really not a term, but I could, I would usually drink during the night, basically stumble and go to sleep, wake up, go to work. Very first thing I was thinking about is, okay, what am I going to do after work? As I'm struggling to function, as I'm struggling to take a shower, and as I'm struggling to wake up. It got to the point to where it ruled my life. It ruled everything I did. My decisions I made, I had to make a decision. Where am I going to drink? Not what am I going to eat, but what am I going to drink and where and how much that didn't even matter. It had such a bad control over my life that it was my every waking moment was thinking about it. Even when I was drinking, I was thinking about the next day. It just got to be too bad. It was just horrible. I even walked into the bars and they knew what I wanted to drink and they already had it on the counter. Double Jack and Diet Coke. That was my go-to. And I would basically polish off the bottles they had on the shelf. And it's a real thing. I'm bearing myself out there to give people an idea of what it looks like, an idea of the struggle. It was all consuming to me. And it came to the point to where I basically had to make a choice. What do I want in my life? Do I want a relationship with my wife or do I want a relationship with the bottle? That relationship was going to ruin my life. So in that aspect, I made the conscious decision to look at an outpatient program and to have one-on-one counseling to help me get a grip of why I'm doing this and how I can stop. What can I replace it with? It just reconfirms my will and dedication to making sure that I don't drink anymore. Because when I look back, I don't want to ever repeat what I did. It was just to the point to where I couldn't handle it anymore. So thinking about all of that, it comes down to other aspects of my life that have changed for the better. The alcohol is something that I could talk about for a long time. So maybe I will do another video just really focusing on that. But this one is basically talking about some of the things that led up to the last 2 years of what I did. In the same time frame, I did speak about the aspect of the doctors talking about diabetes and about my health being bad. Obviously, with the alcohol, all the liver enzymes and all that, those measurements were really sky high. My A1C was in a really bad position. I used to be what they would call pre-diabetic. I don't really know if that is the textbook term. However, it was when the A1C was just ticking up. Then it just started being steady. Then it just started being to the point to where it was just diabetes. So I took steps that I started talking to my doctor about how can we also work on getting some of this diabetes under control. So I was on the typical pill form of medication to help with the diabetes, the diabetic numbers. It helped. However, I just thought to myself, getting on some kind of a GLP-1 type medication to really help myself at that time was probably a better solution or a good additional solution. I found over time that it really started knocking my numbers down. It also started, obviously, we've a lot, you may have heard of the side effects of GLPs, that you start losing weight. However, it was first intended for my diabetes. It helped quite a bit. It helped bring my numbers down so much that now I don't take the pill form of diabetic medicine. I'm still on the GLP-1. And I did mention that I started at 370 pounds and now I'm at around 250. So I've lost 120 pounds. That's not based on just taking the GLP-1. It was also because I cut out alcohol. My food consumption went way down. And that's something that I'm going to discuss in probably the next video. If you're still here, and if you have questions, you feel free to comment and ask me any questions that you want. It's something that I really want to share with people out there. And if this rings true to one person, two people, great. That's what I really wanted to try and do, is share my experience so that other people can see it. I know that there's probably going to be a lot of people out there saying, hey, this is your personal business. Just leave it personal and don't express it. That's fine. You can be that. You can feel that way. It doesn't bother me. I do know, though, that I have more to say, and I want to continue on this journey of putting it out on video so that more people can see my struggles and my victories. There's a lot of victories there too. So stay tuned. There's going to be more coming. Thanks for watching my video. And if you liked it, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. It really helps a lot. And if you're interested in seeing more about my life, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because there are more videos coming in the future. We'll see you then.